Hello and welcome back to Embraer TV, live from here at the Singapore Airshow 2018. Now we have loads yet to look forward to this afternoon, but earlier we heard from the CEO and President of Commercial Aviation for Embraer, John Slattery. He was explaining his expectations for the show here, and in particular the E2 generation of jets. And this is the first time that they've been seen in Singapore, or Asia and the Pacific, so high hopes expected from them. We also heard about the financial benefits that this aeroplane offers to customers and airline operators themselves, and we heard testimonies from people that operate the aeroplanes themselves, a pilot and an operator who can't do that without unrivaled service support that Embraer offer and continue to offer into the future. Now though, we're going to go back live over to the virtual reality cockpit mock-up that we've got here at our stand at Embraer, and I'm, as a pilot myself, rather jealous of our reporter Fernando Tiberini, who's managed to try his hand in the cockpit of the E2 virtual reality. And he beat me to it because I want to try my hand at it too. But here we go. Here's over to Fernando.
I'm here at the E2 VR experience, and I'm really excited to try this out for myself. The E2 has a state-of-the-art cockpit that delivers best efficiencies and performance in the single-aisle segment. Now, these advanced avionics really provide exceptional situational awareness for the pilots and reduce their workload. Now, let's try it. Thank you. So these are, of course, fourth generation full fly-by-wire controls, and everything feels really intuitive thanks to these nice and large information displays. So let's get started. All looks good. There we go. Oh, we're about to take off. Ooh. Did I pack everything? Toothbrush, passport? I pull the yoke towards me gently. And we're taking off. Woo! Ha ha! There we go. I didn't even check where we're flying to, but we'll see. Once we reach 30,000 feet, all right, this looks good. That is a very, very short landing strip. Now I'm going to have to rely on this cockpit of the E2, but I'm trusting that it all will work out well. Nose up. There we go. Pull that towards me. Oh, we're about to land. Oh, this is amazing. I didn't even feel it. Ah, smooth landing. Ooh, this was amazing. I definitely recommend you stop by here at the VR experience at the Embraer stand. And now back to the studio to Arthur.
Thanks, Fernando. Now, everybody knows how important customer satisfaction is, whether you're buying groceries from the store or buying a brand new aeroplane from Embraer. Customer satisfaction means everything. And the person responsible for making that happen at Embraer is President and CEO of Services and Support, Johann Bordais, or now known as Tech Care and Customer Happiness Officer.
There you go.
And we're also joined by Captain Tony Haddy as well, who is the President and Director of Premier. Now, and Johann, what is this Customer Happiness Officer?
That's exactly who we are, as a matter of fact. This happened, I mean, the last time we saw each other was a year ago, right, in Paris. And we were just getting all this new business unit getting together, right? And we've been doing a little scouting, and the one thing that we want to do and work on is really innovation. Look at what's going to be coming next. What's the new way of supporting customers? And I was doing a little tour, European tour, and I stopped at the TUM, which is a technological university of Munich, right?
Yeah.
And I was just looking there and wandering in the corridors, and those are the incubators. You have a lot of startups, and that was a sign there that was basically saying there was the HR manager, and she was the employee happiness manager. And I was like, well, this is cool because this basically tells what she does, what she really is looking the ultimate goal. And I think, you know, when I look at my title, I'm like, well, CEO, kind of a boring thing, right? President and CEO, that's very boring.
It's very formal.
What do I do really? I mean, you know, what me and the team are doing, we're just making our customers happy. So I decided to change that title. It's my LinkedIn, and it's Customer Happiness Officer now. And I love it, and I think everyone loves it.
Captain Tony, do you feel happier now that he's known as Customer Happiness Officer rather than CEO?
I think yeah, I'm happy because for all these years that I know and I operate their product, Embraer product, you will see my face always happy because I can rely on them. Because 99.9%, I cannot say 100%, 99.9%, I never had a problem for dispatchability. Yeah. It's as long as I operate their product, and it's wonderful.
And how long have you been operating Embraer jets for?
2006. It's the first legacy that we operate, and we have also the Embraer 120 at that time. And until now, we operate almost about 13 aircraft and a couple of different products of Embraer.
And how important was it for you when you bought the jets and you realized after buying them that, wow, these guys weren't just putting it all on for show to sell me the aeroplanes, they've been as consistent in the running of helping me run the airline as they were in the selling of aeroplanes? How important was that to you?
Oh, it's very, very important. I said to everyone, when we bought the product, we married with them. So we married with Embraer since 2006. What is marriage meaning? They have to support us. It's like a partner, because once you buy a product, the product can only goes if the support is excellent. Because we are not relying on the product itself, because that product can happen anything. And that is the thing that support and service center must be comply with the commitment. And they give us the commitment on that.
And Johann, how do you make that work? How do you make that happen?
Well, I think you want to make sure, and that's the reason that we created this business unit. I mean, we invested heavily over the last 20 years in Embraer for each segment that the defense executive and commercial aviation just to be the best at the customer support experience. And this is what we've been doing. And I think we reached this. I mean, if you look at the executive jets market, we are the #1 2 years consecutively for the AIN magazine, ranking for the product support. Same thing. I mean, every time the customers compare us to the product support and actually rank us better than Boeing and Airbus, right? And also for more than 85% of satisfaction for our defense customer. So once we reach that level of satisfaction, we say, well, what's next? We need to bring some more power in the background, right, to just make it the next step. And that's what we've done. So we put the team together, but we're global. And I like that word because we're global because we're all over the place, right? We got more than 5,600 airplanes. That's 2,500 people that works on the new business unit Tech Care, which is a platform which makes the technology with the caring. And I think we are the only one in the world in the aerospace business that can use that word caring. They're truly caring. That Brazilian soul, you know, that makes it so special. And I think this is what we do best every day. And we have more than 24 warehouses around the world, thanks to this combination of all those teams together, more than 77 simulators also. That just serves the customer every day and make them happy.
For the E2, new generation jets just about to enter service, how will customer support work with this airplane? What are you planning on doing differently with the E2 generation of jets?
Everything we planned is for the last 5 years. Whatever we announced the program, you don't prepare and enter the service just, you know, waiting for the last year to come around and they're about to certify the airplane. You do it at the first drawing because you draw it, the airplane, to be served, to be in operation, not just to deliver. Right, and this is what we've been doing. We've been ramping up also all the team. Up to 100 people have been dedicated over the last 5 years to prepare the internet service. That's about the material, the MRO, the technical, the training, and we're right around the corner. So I can tell you that Vidro, our first customer, is ready to go. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, we had about 10 Vikings down in Brazil getting the training for the airplane and going around and playing around with the airplane, getting familiar with the airplane, and so much for the pilots also. The material is getting shipped out. We're good to go.
How are you going to look after customers and airline operators specifically in Asia and the Pacific?
Now, we've been doing this for the last 20 years. If you look at the 3 different segments, that's something you want to keep and customize. When you go and take care of a customer like Captain Tony and his fleet, I mean, you got to have the concierge type of service, right? The airline is another animal, and also for the defense, it's another thing, right, also. If you look about the region, it's 350 airplanes. That's about 190 airplanes for the commercial aviation. That's about 33, 35 airplanes for the defense. And that's 95 executive jets in a region, including China. And I can tell you that Captain Tony is expecting the best of the best, as he mentioned. I mean, you got to be there. You got to be able to have the local people based in our Singapore office, plus the customer account manager, tech rep, all the material people, the also the aircraft service center approved, so you can also go and have your MRO and have your heavy maintenance of the aircraft done very locally. Otherwise, it won't work. You don't do this from 20,000 miles away, right, from Brazil.
Embraer, they're not based just in Brazil. For the customers here in Pacific and Asia, you've got an office right there in Singapore. So people like Tony can come to you and say, hey, I need help with this.
That's exactly it. Now, of course, it takes also the customer. You need to understand the customer. If you take Captain Tony, for example, he's been operating what? I mean, like you said, 6 airplanes of Embraer for the last 12 years.
Yes.
That's what it is. And I think you just kind of do it your way.
I do it my way and your way.
And our way,
yes.
Right? Well, speaking of which, I was thinking of something here. Did you know that Frank Sinatra actually announced and released that song back in '69? Is that
Yes,
correct?
My Way.
You remember that, right?
I remember.
My Way, Your Way. And it was in '69. I am French, and I have to admit that this song is actually French. Did you know this?
No.
2 years before, Claude François actually wrote that song, and the title is not My Way, but it's As Usual. It's Comme d'habitude, as usual. So what I'd like to do here, a little test, and I'm going to be wearing that cap here, so you can have to take care. You take care of me, I take care of you. And then what we do, and we're going to do a little singing together.
Why not?
Okay, how about that? But I'm going to be singing in French, the first verse, okay? And then you're just going to move to the second one. We're not going to go the whole song, but I think we're going to try that one out, okay? So no warm-up.
The first paragraph, you're going to be singing the first?
Yeah, the first, and then you're going to go for the second. And I think that will be it, okay?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You want to get the lyrics?
I will. Don't worry about
I
it.
just want to point out for the record, just so that everybody knows, this was a little before my time, this song.
Yeah, well, so was I. I mean,
I think this is going to be a first for Embraer TV.
The song that everybody loves.
We all love that song. Yeah. All right, so we'll give it a shot, okay? All right. Je me lève,
And now,
je te bouscule,
and now the end is near.
comme d'habitude.
And
Tu me
so I
réveilles.
face the final curtain. My friend,
Comme
very
d'habitude.
clear. I state my case, of which I'm certain.
Ma main caresse tes cheveux,
I live a life that's full.
comme d'habitude.
I travel each and every highway, but more, much more than this.
Comme d'habitude.
Thank you very much.
Woo! I like it. Thank you, Captain. Very good. Excellent.
Captain Tony,
Yes.
you keep operating aeroplanes. Johann, you keep supporting them whilst doing it. That was
Thank you so much,
fantastic. Guys, thank you very, very much
All right,
for joining
thank you.
us.
Thank you
very much. Tony, thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
As you can see, service and customer relationships extend more than just looking after the aeroplanes themselves. Now then, here on Embraer TV, you can get in touch. We've been asking you to send in comments, tweets via social media all morning, and we have received some comments as well. Here's some of the comments that people had to say via Twitter. We've got Smithsonian saying it's a great show. The E2 Profit Hunter looks amazing. Hashtag Embraer TV. We also heard from Leandru via YouTube. The shape of the E2 curved wing is absolutely amazing, and we tend to agree. It's a beautiful looking wing. We've also heard from Walmir on Facebook. Aeronave, this aeroplane in Portuguese, the E190, E195, E2 jets, looks like wonderful engineering. Well done, Embraer. What we'd also love to hear from, actually, is your questions. If you have any questions about Embraer, be it the aeroplanes, customer service support, do get in touch and we will try and find out the answers for you, or we'll answer them here for you right live on the programme. Now then, earlier I spoke to the Vice President of Marketing for Commercial Aviation, Rodrigo Souza, and found out what he had to say about his experiences within Embraer. Now, operating an airline is not an easy thing to do. Carriers want to make sure that their aircraft are loaded at maximum capacity, flying the most profitable routes at all times. This isn't an easy feat to achieve, and within Embraer it's particularly important, and the man that's responsible for helping carriers and airlines achieve that is Rodrigo Souza. He joins me today, you're Vice President of Marketing for Commercial Aviation. Rodrigo, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's my second time here in Singapore for the air show, right? And the biggest presence of Embraer ever, I would say. So as we see the markets developing and becoming more and more important, the region is the fastest growing region. So we wanted to be also strengthening our presence. So excellent, very good show, and stronger as ever.
Now, Embraer have got a massive presence, as you say, here in Asia, but you're focusing on a new gap in the market, aren't you? The crossover.
Yeah. What people are in the market are calling the crossover is this gap between regional and the bigger narrow body aircraft. That's it was there already some years ago. But as we see the new generation coming and more focus of the other OEMs on the bigger aircraft or optimizing the bigger aircraft, we see more of a gap between regional and those narrow bodies. So now it's a gap between, let's say, 70, 80 seats up to 150 seats. And what we are seeing at the same time is new aircraft coming with a very different level of economics that allows airlines to have the economics of the narrow bodies, right, in smaller shells, let's say, but keeping the comfort for passengers that are desired for this bigger category, and I believe that's why some people are calling the crossover, right? You have the efficiency of the regional aircraft, but with the elements of comfort for passengers and all that of the narrow bodies.
Rodrigo, why do you think that Asia specifically is calling for this new crossover category?
Well, what we see in Asia is, of course, a strong growth, right? As I mentioned before, the strongest growth in the world. However, the yields, the ticket prices are typically very low because everybody competes for the same market, right? Until now, we don't see the market didn't have the proper aircraft with the economics of the seat economics of the larger aircraft, right? But with the trip cost to address small markets, right? So you can develop new markets with less competition and therefore being more profitable. And I think that's where the Jets E2 comes to cover this gap and address, right, this crossover segment.
Now, Embraer have a fleet smart philosophy which they've used for many years that's worked very successfully in other regions around the world, namely Europe and America. How are you going to use fleet smart here in Asia to help sell the E2?
So fleet smart, I'd say in the case of the Jet C2 in particular, we took really to the highest standards we could take. So it combines the three pillars, right? The smarter for business, smarter by design, and the smarter experience. In the smarter by design, we did everything on the E2 to make the aircraft the most efficient single aisle aircraft in the market. In terms of fuel burn and maintenance cost, this aircraft is unbeatable compared to any other offer in the market. So we did a completely new wing. It's the highest aspect ratio wing in the industry. We had our fourth generation fly-by-wire also to optimize efficiency. We reduced maintenance costs, we increased the reliability of the aircraft. We just announced the maintenance intervals to be longer than we anticipated, going up to 10,000 flight hours. And this produces the highest availability, aircraft availability in the market. So all that contributes for us to have the highest efficiency, and that's the pillar of, let's say, of the smarter by design. At the same time, on the smarter for business, we also had very good news to the market, reducing the transition training for pilots from current generation jets to the second generation. So initially our target was 3 days of training for pilots, and now we reduced it for 2.5 days and no need for simulator. So for Embraer customers, it will be very easy to transition from current generation to the second generation.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, from a pilot, as a pilot myself, I can tell you that 2.5 days in an aeroplane transitioning from a first generation E-jet to the E2 is incredible, really.
Yeah, it was a remarkable achievement of the team, and also right in terms of environment. So the aircraft is actually the quietest aircraft in the industry, with 20 PNDB margin to stage 4. Initially we forecasted 17. We achieved 3 PNDB better, which is a lot. I mentioned fuel burn before, 17.3% better than the current T190. Together with fuel burn is less CO2 emissions as well. So this aircraft is not only the most efficient, but the most environmentally friendly aircraft in the market. And finally, we always talk about the smarter experience, and for that, to demonstrate that, we have our mock-up here in the show, right? We had in Paris, we have here in Singapore as well, and the feedback from customers have been great. We are really taking the excellent experience passengers have already in the E-jets, right? Typically, the passengers rank the comfort of the E-jets to be better than narrow bodies, and on the E2 we are taking that to one step further, so great experience.
So, as the Vice President of Marketing for Commercial Aviation, how easy is it making your life having such a great jet to work with?
Well, there is always strong competition, so life is never easy.
No.
But I have to say that I feel very proud for the work that the development team has been done, right? And it certainly makes our life much easier, right? It was already designed to be the best aircraft in the segment, and what we are doing in terms of achieving better fuel burn, better maintenance costs, lower transition costs, better passenger experience, and all of that within the program budget, ahead of schedule, right? So our initial schedule was to have the first delivery by the mid of the year, and we probably will be doing in the next month. The first flight is actually scheduled for April. So beating the spec, under budget, ahead of schedule, that's some magnificent work that has been done from the Embraer engineering and the program development. So it certainly will make our aircraft easier, and but at the same time we have to have our sales and marketing activities at the same level, and that's why we are bringing the Tiger, right?
I know.
That's why we brought the Profit Hunter to the show. So we really want to demonstrate to the customers and to the public what the efficiency of this aircraft means, and I believe the level of economics that this aircraft achieves, being able to open new markets, develop new opportunities, is really well demonstrated by the picture of the Tiger, the Profit Hunter.
So from a financial standpoint then, the Profit Hunter really is perfectly suited for the Asia and Pacific market.
Yeah, I would say that among the 3 aircraft of the E-Jet C2 family, especially the 195 E2, which is the biggest member of the family, will be certified the next year, 2019, is probably a game changer for the region. So it really brings the same seat cost of the bigger aircraft that is necessary for this region, because the yield is very low, but with the trip cost low enough to take advantage of new opportunities, typically over 20% reduction in trip cost compared to larger narrow bodies. So that's simply not available today and will be available from next year on. So we do see lots of more opportunities, new markets, new segments for Embraer with this new aircraft.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Rodrigo.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Arthur.
Well, we're nearly at an end of day one for the Singapore Air Show, and our coverage here on Embraer TV is nearly coming to an end. But what we want to finish on is a point of customer experience, and ultimately it all boils down to passenger experience with the aeroplanes. And Embraer believe fundamentally that the more comfortable a passenger is on board their aeroplanes, the better they will sell, and that includes not having a centre seat. It's 2 seats, 1 aisle, either side. Brilliant customer experiences, very comfortable, and this video illustrates that perfectly.